All this passion, purpose, character, fulfillment talk has likely got you thinking, all right, girls, do you even know the meaning of life?
No,
not even a little bit.
We do not. But boy, are we working to try and figure it out and invite you along the quest on the way. Today's final minisode, we're going to talk a little bit more about what some psychologists say can help us in that figuring out the question of the meaning of life.
We've had some really cool access to some really cool people, and we want to share it with you.
We have an amazing interview series of some of the interviews we've done with celebrities like Dr. Deborah Tillman, America's Super Nanny, Dr. Joseph McClendon III, famous neuropsychologist, former professor of UCLA. We've got Dr. Bruce Lipton, author of Beyond Belief, and we even have John Maxwell, the #1 leadership expert.
Your sisters want to bring you into the room with our most exclusive access. So go to kandshy.com. Right there on the homepage, you will see a button that says Get My Celebrity Interview Series, and we would love to share our access with you.
KAYANDSHI.com. We'll see you over there.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
Well, chances are your meaning of life is very different from our meanings of life. So no one could ever find the meaning because life is a subjective experience for all of us. But the psychologists Frank Martella and Michael Steger defined in the Journal of Positive Psychology back in 2016, 3 ways that you can kind of measure your world and see if you can extract for yourself a meaning for your life.
Right. What does it all mean, man? Well, if you watch Tony Robbins' TED Talk, he talks about the fact that what we're doing all of the time, all of us are doing this all of the time, is 3 things simultaneously. We're deciding what to focus on. We're deciding what it means to us, and we're deciding what to do about it. But that middle piece here is the most important, because once we decide what something means to us, it will absolutely influence what it is that we do about that. And so when we address a question like, what's the meaning of life? While we might not be able to answer that for you specifically, what we can do is present these ideas from psychologists about the 3 things we need to keep in mind as we're assigning meaning and as we're searching for it in our lives.
So the first thing that we're going to examine as we're talking about this out of this article from the Journal of Positive Psychology is the idea of coherence. Now, this is how events fit together, aka, can you make sense of your own day life? And maybe if you can't, or you have parts of your life that don't make sense or that have left question marks, chances are you've assigned meaning and stories in there anyway. And just because of humans' needs to cross the T's and dot the I's and make sure that things fit together. It doesn't necessarily mean that you fit new developments into your narrative the moment that they happen, but you're usually able to do so afterward and reflecting and seeing how and what I'm experiencing today, how does it tie in with my past and where I'm going in the future?
Right. This ability to see that it is all part of a larger narrative gives a lot of anchor for folks when they are examining their lives. In fact, you can see this inherent principle in the opposite. When someone has so much tragedy, so much trauma, so much unexpected circumstance on their plate that they're unable to orient towards some kind of coherence, that oftentimes these are the folks we see most at risk for mental health breakdowns, for crime, for poverty, for going off the deep end, because they're not able to understand and assign meaning in a way that's coherent for their life story so far.
Gosh, we do not have time to dive into the trauma psychology there, but I hope you all are picking up on the depths of what coherence can do for us if it's out of alignment. The next thing that they ask us to look at in this article is purpose. Now, you've heard us talk a lot about purpose, but this isn't the singular particular reason that you were created or exist. In this sense, they're talking about purpose as your sense of your core goals, your aims, and your direction in life. Like, do you at least have a sense of how and where you're moving forward? It doesn't mean that you've like click, spark, zing, I have the thing, but it might mean though that you at least have a general understanding of where you're going and you're putting one foot in front of the other.
Right. You're finding purpose both in your daily actions and in your larger life goals. You have some kind of aim. You have a direction that you're headed. That's what we're talking about with purpose here. And hopefully as you walk your own path, that begins to quantify in some kind of purpose statement. Hopefully all of us die with some kind of purpose statement. Hopefully most of us don't know what that purpose statement is until the very end because we're still discovering it throughout our lifetime. But someone that we respect and admire, like John Maxwell, is going to tell you, I know exactly what my purpose is, and it's to add value to leaders who multiply that value to others. Now, John's 75, right? He's had 3/4 of a century to figure out what that purpose is, and he hasn't quantified it like that until the last 6 or 7 years. So being able to move in a direction towards making a quantifying purpose statement like that is enough to give us that sense of meaning and direction.
Okay, finally, we've got this examination portion for the idea of significance. When you're looking at finding purpose and the meaning for your life, we want to look at this idea of significance, aka, does it even matter? Do you find the places in your life where life matters? Does your experience matter? Does your contribution matter? The significance of what you leave on this earth, what you take with you, the significance of anything, right? If you are a meaning assigning machine, as we've talked about in this podcast, do you find that the things that you engage in matter to you?
I love that. And we want you to know that you absolutely matter to us. And we hope that you matter to you too. We're always rooting for you. With love from your sisters, Kay and Shai.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.